Hi guys, it's Alex and welcome back to another video, and in this commentary video I'm going to be explaining what I dislike about Chapter 3, Season 3. Alright, and starting off with the guns, we have the DMR. I think the DMR is the definitive of the two snipers. I think you should run that and not the heavy, and the reason I say that is because with the DMR you get to deal consistent damage, and with the heavy you get one shot. It's like the embodiment of a skill shot, and it's not really a skill shot because if you hit that skill shot, it only deals 180, 130 if you're in zero builds, factoring in overshields. But if you're in building, the building section, which I don't play a lot, I play more zero builds than actual building. But if you are in normal battle royale with the builds, you will tag someone with the sniper, and they will literally build Fort Squidward in like 5 seconds, and you will have wasted your time because they have chug splashes or minis, and they're just gonna get their health back before you can even shoot them. And if you spread their builds down, they're probably just gonna turbo build and build it back. So I think the DMR is better when it comes to that because you can, you can be ready if someone's peeking you. You can have your shot ready, and if you miss your shot, you get to just keep, shooting. Versus with the heavy, if you hit that skill shot, chances are they have healing to heal them, whether it be a shield keg or something like that, or just just minis or chug splashes or whatever. I just think that the heavy is kind of bad. I still pick it up. I still pick it up from time to time, but I definitely see that the DMR is a lot better. And that's it for snipers, and we're going to move on to ARs. Alright, and moving on to ARs, we have... My first complaint is the recoils. I think the recoils on the ARs is pretty bad with the combat and the hammer. I think that the burst is fine. The recoil on the burst is fine. It makes sense. I totally support the recoil on the burst, but I feel like the recoil on the combat and the hammer is just a little too much. I think the hammer is kind of controllable, but I think with the combat it gets a lot more difficult to, handle the recoil when it comes to that gun, and the damage isn't really that much better between the two. The burst is fine for like medium to longer ranges, but I feel like the only one really good for medium to longer ranges is the Ranger Assault. I typically pick up the Ranger Assault more than I pick up the combat or the hammer. Oftentimes I will take the combat in place of an SMG and replace my shotgun with an SMG. More details about SMGs in the next section, but yeah, I think ARs can be better. They're not too good, but especially with the recoil on the combat and the hammer. I'm going to go back on that because I just don't like it at all. I feel like those guns could be better if they just didn't have the recoil. But maybe lower the fire rate and get rid of the recoil, and they're probably fine. I'm not saying lower it to the Ranger Assault fire rate, but maybe a little more on par with the old Scar from Chapter 1. And that, I feel like that would be a lot better. Now we're going to talk about SMGs. I think SMGs are completely terrible, especially with the Charge SMG. I think it's probably the worst contender when it comes to SMGs being awful. I think the Charge SMG has very high risk, very, very low reward. You sit there and charge up the damn thing for 3 seconds, and you get a slightly faster fire rate, and unbearable recoil with that thing. Holy crap, the recoil on that thing is god freaking terrible. If you've ever shot that gun, you know how bad the recoil is, and with the higher fire rate, you just blow your entire mag and miss most of your shots. Unless your opponent is like point blank. But yeah, I think it's absolutely awful with building. If you start charging that thing up, either your opponent's gonna build or just start shooting you back. But like it's not even good against turbo building either. Like it doesn't have that going for it. Like turbo, you just short you walls when people are turbo building. They're not gonna injure them. So it's just got that. It's got that charge up, which is terrible, which I hate. I hate the charge shotgun. I hate the charge SMG. They're both terrible guns. Never pick them up. Would rather have an empty inventory than pick either of those fucking things up because they're just awful. Stinger SMG is okay, I guess. I miss the combat SMG, and I feel like this is like, going back on when I started playing the game, which is Chapter 1, Season 2. I like the guns. I think my favorite season when it came to guns was Chapter 1, Season 7. Though that had perfect guns. I would not complain about a single thing about the guns in Chapter 1, Season 7. I would bring all those back in a heartbeat, and I'd be totally fine. And the combat SMG is similar to the SMGs that we had then. But I just feel like Fortnite is trying to go in a way of a no-skill meta when it comes to guns. Again, they're getting rid of skill shots with the heavy sniper, and kind of promoting spray, but not. They're kind of promoting spray, but not really, because they made the shotguns, which I'm going to go into next, completely awful, to the point where you should literally just pick up 2 SMGs. If I either pick up 2 SMGs or I pick up 1 SMG in a combat, and I just rock those and not rock a shotgun at all. But yeah, I really don't think that the Charge SMG is any good, and I hope they get rid of it when it comes to the next season, because I never pick it up. I never see anyone else pick it up. I've never played against someone who actually had it, besides in the early game when no one has guns. I just think it's absolutely god freaking terrible. It's a bad gun, 3 seconds to charge up, and you get a slightly faster fire rate. That's it. It's pretty much similar damage to a Stinger, but yeah, it's just terrible. Anyways, moving on to shotguns. Alright, and moving on to shotguns. Shotguns are literal poo-poo. I would literally just carry, like I said in the last segment, 2 Stingers, or a Stinger in a combat. I wouldn't carry a shotgun unless you get an auto, because autos are just better attacks. But when it comes to the 2-shot and the Striker Pump, the Striker Pump just isn't that good. The Striker Pump shoots a little bit faster than a normal pump, with that being 0.67 seconds between shots. Normal pump being 0.7 seconds between shots. So it's not a huge increase in fire rate, but you don't get anywhere near similar damage when it comes to Striker Pump and the normal pump. It's just bad. And the auto shotgun is just the tac shotgun, but a lot better. With the auto shotgun, your damage is about 92. With the tac shotgun, your damage is about 88. Both have magazine sizes of 8. Both have fire rate of 1.5. Reload time is 7.2 seconds on the auto and 5.3 on the tac. So it's a little bit better. It's like an upgraded version of the tac shotgun. When it comes to the legendary variant. Numbers between the other variants I don't really know, but these are the only ones that I really know. But yeah, I just take the auto shotgun. It's your best bet. If you're even going to carry a shotgun, which I kind of wouldn't recommend, I would just carry an SMG or 2 SMGs, something like that. I really wouldn't recommend carrying shotguns this season. It's just bad. It's been the same way for a lot of seasons. I don't think we have good shotguns for a long time, a while since we had good shotguns. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the shotguns, and we're going to move on to pistols, which I'm going to do the same segment. And with pistols, I wouldn't really change pistols at all. I would just bring back the Deagle and replace the revolver. I don't think there's a huge difference between the two. I just think the Deagle's a lot better, does more damage. One-shots wooden buildings, maybe, still, if they bring that back. I don't know. But, yeah. And that bring back dualies as well. I think dualies are really fun. Nothing really wrong with dualies. I don't know why the dual pistols are gone, really. If I had to, kind of think about why they could have removed them, I don't really know. But that's it for guns, and we're going to move on to the next segment, which is, I believe, skins. Alrighty, and starting off with skins in the Battle Pass, we are starting off with Eevee. I think Eevee is a literal failed Nintendo Switch collab, and by the looks of it. When it comes to her other edit styles with the dress on, I think her face looks a bit too weird. I think her face is a bit too small and proportional. I don't know, it just kind of bothers me with her head and her face. I don't know what it is. It just... And now we're going to move on to the Knight dude. What the frick is his name? Let me just quickly check, because I'm going to do that really fast. Malik? I think this is an incredibly basic skin. Nothing too crazy going on with it. Just kind of like very boring in my opinion. The emotes and the pickaxes and stuff are fine, but I just think the skin itself is kind of bad. And then we have the Snaps customizable skin for the season. I think it just looks weird. Like, I don't think there's any Snaps combo that I just think looks good. I think they all look a bit weird. And I guess that's the point, but like still. And now we're gonna move on to Stormfar, however you say that. This skin looks like a skin we already have. One of the pilot skins in the Battle Pass, or not in the Battle Pass, in the item shop. This skin just looks like a skin we already have. I'll throw a picture of that skin up about now, maybe. But yeah. And then we're gonna move on to the Adiria skin? And that's how you say her name. Again, another pretty basic skin. Nothing really going on. She's just wearing a colorful suit and her hair's up. Really good skin, I guess. Very, very creative. But and then when it comes to the collab skins, I'm not a fan of collab skins. Like I think there's a time and place for collab skins, but I think battle passes really aren't it. But now that we have 2 this season, and that's kind of bad. As much as I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, and I like Star Wars up to an extent, but not the newer movies. But yeah, just not a fan of collab skins in general. I feel like we need more original skins than collab skins, which has been a huge problem within Fortnite for a while now. Especially when it comes to Marvel. Marvel skins are running rampant, and they're awful in every single one. And I can only imagine how someone who doesn't like Star Wars or Indiana Jones feeling about this season's skins, not liking them. Because I've been in the same boat when it comes to the Marvel skins. I don't like Marvel. I'm not a fan of Marvel. I hate when I see Marvel skins in the item shop all the fucking time. All the time. Like, it feels like every single week we get a new Marvel skin, or every few weeks we get a new Marvel skin. It's just getting unbearable when it comes to the Marvel skins in this fucking game. It is ruining the game for me. It's what made me take the longest break from this game ever, is the Marvel skins. And I don't think we're going to recover, because I feel like Epic has a contract with Marvel where they need to release skins all the time. And I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, because it makes them the most money. And if they have a contract, then they legally have to, or whatever. But I really just don't like the Marvel, and I don't think a lot of other people like the Marvel either. They're aiming at a group of people and saying the hell with everybody else, you know. And it just kind of feels a bit weird, and it feels like Fortnite is cashing out and selling out. If there is a contract with Marvel, it really feels like they're a sellout, you know, and it hurts. It hurts because this game used to have a lot of good characters, a lot of good skins, and now it's kind of just collabs all the time. Which and a rant about collabs is going to come up soon. I'm going to make that because I've been complaining about collabs for the longest time. But yeah, moving on from this season's Battle Pass skins, and now moving into the gameplay. Alright, now we're moving on to the gameplay. I think the gameplay with this season is probably the most fun I've had in a while when it comes to Fortnite. Basically just playing zero builds. But I really like the cars with the, you know, off-road tires and the face plates. I think those are really cool. I almost always, every match I always throw on a faceplate and some tires. You may see that on my streams that I'm doing with Fortnite. But I think other than that, the gameplay is pretty boring. Again, the only fun thing really is the zero builds. I think if you play a lot of builds and you haven't played zero builds yet, I really feel like you should give it a try, because it's a lot less sweaty, in my opinion. I feel like for the longest time I have been like, the sweats are just ruining Fortnite when it comes to the whole building and sweating in public games. It's kind of like ruining the game for me. And then I feel like that's something that Fortnite listened to, because you know, they came out with zero builds, and when zero builds was the only mode to play, all the super sweats quit for that week, and it was like nice. And now we finally us casual players finally have a home when it comes to zero builds, and I love that. It's the most fun I've had in Fortnite probably since season 9. It's chapter 1, season 9 was probably the last time I remember having this much fun in Fortnite, and that is sad, because I've been playing this game since chapter 1, season 2. And to play all of these up to Chapter 3, Season 3, and only have fun, not to have fun in, like, a shit ton of seasons and a whole chapter not have fun at all, really, is insane. And I feel like I'm not the only player that feels like that. And yeah, I just really think that Zero Builds is a really nice addition, and anyone that doesn't like it is probably just a sweaty builder, in my opinion. And like, going between zero builds and regular builds is a completely different ball game, in my opinion. Especially with the overshields, and especially when, you know, you're just trying to play normally and do your challenges or whatever. Go to zero builds. It's just so much better, unless you have like a specific building challenge. But I would just go play zero builds if you want to, you know, chill and do challenges. There's not a lot of people try hard in that mode, and it's just like, I couldn't get a win this season unless I switched over to zero builds. And you probably saw that whenever I posted that meme video about how I didn't have any wins this season or whatever. And then I start streaming, and I start streaming zero builds, and like we're just like getting wins like all the time, and it feels good. It feels good to play zero builds, and I really think it's a different experience from normal Fortnite, and I love it, and I hope it never goes away. And I feel like a lot of people are the same way as me.